So today's podcast is of my last radio show, and I'm speaking right now with my production, actually the whole Savage team. We don't have to mention them by name because I think they'd rather remain anonymous for now. And we're talking about what to do in 2022. And they were having me reflect on radio and my years in radio and how much more dynamic it was than podcasting. As Karen said, because you had an audience. I said, well, where was the audience? There was no live audience. She said, well, there was the producer on the other side of the screen in radio. Yes, in the early days, they would react to you. Some of them were very reactive. Many of them weren't. You had people walking by in the halls of the radio station. But most importantly in radio, I had the callers. And I had a unique ability. I guess everyone in talk radio who does it a while envisions the audience out there. And then we had some regular callers who we knew. I learned something in the first weeks of radio, which is never have regulars on. It'll kill a show. My program director said, don't use regulars. So we try to avoid it, but I envisioned them. I had a core audience of like 5 different type of people in my head. You know, there was Bill in Brooklyn, and there was Sarah in Denver, and there was Harry and Sally in Los Angeles. They're one person, by the way. And then there was Frankenstein in San Francisco, and I was talking to them every day. And I wanted to know how Frankenstein was responding to what I was saying. And I said, I wonder what Harry and Sally think in LA, on and on. But I do miss that. As much as I love the podcast, I do miss live radio. However, I just want to say this to everyone listening, because you're listening to my last radio show is what you're going to hear today. Some days I want to do radio again. Remember, it was a long period of time. I began when I was quite on in years. I mean, I'm not an old guy. I'm kind of, but I am, and I'm not. I mean, it was my 4th career, and I had 3 other careers. I was 52 years old when I started radio. You know how long that is? To have another career at that age and then go to the top of your field? So it's in my rearview mirror. Every time I wake up and say, I want to do radio today, another thought comes to me, and the thought is, Michael, that's in your rearview mirror. You now do podcasts, and you do 3 Newsmax TV shows a week. You're writing a new book, which you're not going to talk about today because you'll be accused of promoting your book, but I'm writing a new book, the last big blast out book for the coming midterm elections.